Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to this sweet new. Well, first of all, welcome to a very special edition of Double Barrel Gaming. This is obviously not a scheduled program. I The reason why we're here, folks, is besides having one of the biggest deals in tech history closed or beaten, the FTC beaten in federal court yesterday, and that was obviously announced. And as Xbox fans, we're all reeling in glory because obviously this was a big deal. We were told by many skeptics that this deal was dead after the CMA block. And here we are. We're on the cusp of them closing the deal. It looks like they're going to be pushing to close the deal by Monday. If that, in fact, does happen, obviously tune in at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Xbox Lunch Break Special with Fuzzy Belvedere, Web Dave, and maybe even a couple of guests or three. And we will then do our additional celebratory, runs, if you will. I really kind of want to put this on Front Street. Why are we here today? We're here because we're going to talk about ABK, and I'm doing a solo act, which is something out of my wheelhouse. I normally don't do this because I like surrounding myself with significant talent, and to speak for an hour and change sometimes is a little difficult. So I got my waters near me just in case I need to take a breath. But in all seriousness, yesterday's show, besides being the most viewed live stream that I've had in 2023, we broke records left, right, and center. We settled in on 1,800 plus people in the live chat, which is phenomenal. I mean, all you have to do is look at what other people that I respect and look up to are doing. Colt Eastwood being one of them. Randall Thor and Jess Corden on the Xbox Two podcast, Dealer and that amazing group of podcasters on his show. These are the kind of numbers they get. If you would have asked me this 2 or 3 years ago, would I ever be in the same category or conversation as them? I'd tell you absolutely not. But we did it, and that's thanks to you. We are exactly 49 subscribers away from 13K. I'm kind of hoping that we can do that live on the air here. That would be kind of dope. If you're finding the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. Again, 49 subs away from 13K. I do these shows 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, all different panels, all great content, and we never use hate-driven narratives or clickbait to get you to tune in. We just have fun. We have a good time, and a lot of people enjoy it, which I'm thrilled. But what also happened yesterday was unprecedented, at least for me as a content creator. Obviously, you start something like this as a hobby. You get out there and make a couple of videos. You guest on a couple of other podcasts. You get the gumption, as I did, to make my own shows. And here we are. I have a network of shows 5 days a week. And it becomes a small business. It becomes a mom and pop kind of a business. And what happened yesterday, again, when I say unprecedented, we were blessed. And I say we because Mrs. BoomStick is a huge part of this. Well, behind the scenes, I don't know if you're ever going to see her on camera. One day, maybe. But, she does things behind the scene that really do help this channel grow. We were blessed with 83, folks, 83 super chats. So one of the things that I have a real problem with is not reading these chats because we're owed nothing. And when I walked away from yesterday's show, I felt like a complete heel. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I did because, again, we're not owed anything. And the fact that people understand this, we got more super chats in one day than we probably get in 2 months, right? That's crazy. And of course, that's because everyone's excited and happy. And just this is a generous community. So what I went to bed thinking about was how I disappointed myself as a content creator. Mrs. Boom saw it on my face. And honestly, folks, I'm not even going to sit here and BS you. I actually lost sleep over it. And I was like, I got up this morning before 6 and I went into my YouTube algorithm stuff and I started writing down names or typing down names to read them before tonight's primetime gaming. And I said to myself, let me run this by Mrs. Boom. She has a really good head on her shoulders. And I said, it's bothering me that I didn't read the super chats. And she goes, I know it's been bothering. It's bothering you since last night. So I said, what if I did maybe a 90-minute stream, read them all, answered some community questions, and thanked everybody. And she's like, I think that's brilliant, and I think people would appreciate that. So that is why we are here. So how we're going to break this down, because again, I'm solo, folks, so you got to bear with me. I normally don't do this. I'm a big fan of the Den of Nerds. I'm not sure if you watch that channel. Josh runs it, and he does this solo act, hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes every day. I don't know how he does it, because I've tried it and it's very difficult, but we're here to not celebrate Mr. Boomstick. We're here to celebrate the community and literally thank you. So what I'm going to do, at least the plan in my brain, is to read 10 super chats at a time, expand on those, and then in the middle of, before I read the other one, maybe we get a community question and from somebody in the chat. So again, you got to bear with me because I am solo and there's no one here helping me, which is fine. I chose this madness, but I have everything queued up. So let's start with the first super chat of yesterday, and it's from a very good friend of the channel. I talk with him pretty much every day in DMs, and that is Sith Lord. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Microsoft wins finally. Let's go. $70 billion well spent. Indeed. Indeed, Sith Lord. It is going to pay dividends for consumers all over the world. And obviously, look, at the end of the day, Microsoft is going to make money hand over fist because Call of Duty is going to be on everything and everywhere, especially Nintendo. And like I said, if you look at Nintendo as a whole, right, they have 125 million consoles to Switch, right? Let's just say for shits and giggles that only 10 million of 10% of those players get Call of Duty. Now, how's that going to work? I don't know. Maybe it's for the Switch 2. Maybe they're going to run it through the cloud like they do in Japan. I don't know. But 10% of 125 million. I'm no mathematician. I may not be the tip of the spear when it comes to mathematics, but that's 12.5 million players. 12.5 million players at 76.43 if you live in New York. Just do the math, folks. It's ridiculous. Next super chat comes up with Jax82. He drops very generous $5 super chat and says, Boom, can we get a repeat performance when Microsoft bought Bethesda? I hope we delivered that, because I had a big panel yesterday. King David was, the star of the show because, well, he's King David. That's what he does. Hopefully you enjoyed it, man. And I will say this, we're closing on 15,000 views on that show. That's a lot. You got to understand, we're not even at 13K yet. So if we ever at some point go higher in views than we actually have in subs, that's pretty damn crazy, right? So we have another one, Sin Vendetta, generous friend of the program. He drops a $10 super chat and says, breaking, Microsoft, Activision, and the UK CMA are asking the UK CAT to pause litigation. The parties are now trying to find a solution behind the scenes. Yeah, the CMA is out there today peddling their nonsense, which if you follow me on Twitter, and if you don't, consider it. It's at Mr. BoomStick XL on Twitter. I kind of gave it to them, and I'm not sorry that I did. The CMA are cowards. They know that they made a mistake. They are trying to protect the market leader. They have ties to Sony. I don't care what anyone tells me. There is collusion between the FTC and Lena Khan and the head of the CMA, and all of that is going to come out eventually, and people will lose positions and go to jail. And I hope that, in fact, is the case. So the CMA is out there peddling their nonsense about saying that Microsoft has to restructure the deal and they'll be under more investigation. That's all nonsense, because Microsoft would have never agreed to pause the CAT hearings if this deal wasn't done. They're just trying to save face because the CMA are cowards, and they got it wrong. And now they're the last man standing. And they look weak, and they should be embarrassed because they blocked the deal for no reason. But let me continue. Little Big Man drops a very generous £2 super chat and says, I saw the law and the law won. Indeed it did. This is I will say this, as former law enforcement, I think everyone knows that I'm a former New York City police officer. I did it for 21 years. Greatest job I ever had. I wanted to do it ever since I was playing with my GI Joes. For me, it was like a dream come true. It was like one of those things that you think about when you're a kid, and then you make it a reality. And you're like, holy crap! How did we get here? Determination, folks. I loved it. I loved helping people, which is kind of like what I think I do here, but not to the extent of putting handcuffs on people, because that's well behind me. Yeah, I think this decision by Judge Corley, what it did for me is instill some faith in the legal system where it hasn't really been for me in a while, because I've seen a lot of injustice, and I'm glad that the evidence presented itself in a way where she ruled in Microsoft's favor. 3-bit. Who doesn't love 3-bit? By the way, I saw the guy, he shows some workout videos. That kid is jacked. And he's a developer, which is awesome. And he's working with Microsoft behind the scenes, hopefully on something. We don't know for sure, but 3-bit, love you, brother. Thank you for the outstanding and very generous $10 super chat. And says, did I read that? Okay, that was 3-bits that I read. Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, no, actually, here this is 3-bits. He says, breaking Microsoft. He literally put the same thing in from Sin Vendetta, and yeah, I mean, listen, I'm stoked. I'm glad that they're talking. I think the CMA is going to bend the knee, and they just don't want to look embarrassing, and they do. They just do. They just don't want to look weak to the world, because there are Googles out there, there are Apples out there. They're going to give them the business if they don't say what they have to say. Ultimately, by Monday, this deal is going to get done. Wolf of Darkness. I mean, if you're not following this guy on Twitter, you're doing it wrong, folks. This guy is out there rah-rahing for Xbox. Love the dude. He drops a very generous $17 super chat. It says, allow me to be the first to congratulate the Xbox community. Yes, Microsoft has acquired Activision Blizzard. Indeed, they have. So we have our Markman 05 drops a very generous $2 super chat. So that's a name I don't know. And hey, Markman, welcome to the channel, brother. Hopefully you subscribe. Thank you for the generosity. He says, this should have closed on my birthday, April 26th. I mean, that would have been a pretty damn good birthday present. But thank you so much. Wolverine XX drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, all I got to say is FOH. We all knew this. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I kind of felt that this was the way it was going to go, but you just never know. Like Hogue Law, by the way, who is back. He did a 1-hour stream. Please get over there and support that man. He came back after having a stroke last year. He came back. I think he might have come back too quick, and he had to stop podcasting, at least doing his own videos, because it's a lot. It's a lot to do these videos. And he did one about this. Get over there and watch. It's about an hour and 10 minutes. I watched it. It's phenomenal stuff, and we love Hogue. He says you can't account for crazy, and I'm glad that crazy did not wreak its ugly head. We have Corbini Gaming drops a very generous $2 super chat and says the salt is flowing. Wow, DC guy is so mad. Listen, people are gonna just be mad and move on. You know what I'm saying? They would have been cheering in the streets if Microsoft would have had this blocked, right? And they would have been hard to be an Xbox content creator, because they would have been gunning for us. But handle it with class, folks. Don't go poking fun. Just walk proud that Xbox is now going to be the home of Call of Duty. Say it out loud. Say it out loud for everyone to hear. That's all you have to do. We have Jax. Oh no, we have Mandingo McThickens, my favorite name. He drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, boom, is it okay to be excited that my lower area has extended with vigorous simulation? From the breaking news, can only wonder what Jim is thinking. Listen, brother, do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations on that. And listen, at least it still works, right? That's the main point. So thank you for that. Jax82 drops an additional $2 super chat and says, this is the best news ever for Xbox and staff. It is, but to be fair, and again, I'm always thinking outside the box. Like, this is great for us as gamers. This is great for Xbox as a business. This is great for Xbox. Like, Phil Spencer is going to be remembered for many things. He's going to be remembered for saving Xbox and closing this deal, right? We know that he is really the head guy, right? And we know that the people above Phil, but we this is Phil's legacy is going to rest on this. Um, where I'm excited for is the current staff at Activision, who hung around for a very long time, for over 20 months, and they were promised change. They were promised a union, a lot of big happenings that are non really game related, that are absolutely the tip of the spear, at least for me, when talking about this deal. Seeing that they're going to be treated better, crunch is going to go away. Studios that were in the salt mines of Call of Duty will eventually be able to venture out and make some new things that they want, like Toys for Bob. Maybe we get a Crash Bandicoot. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But we'll see. That, to me, that's the most important thing, is the people, the actual people that make the games, that keep these companies running, that no one really talks about. They're important to me. I don't know any of them, and I really don't know. I mean, I know some people in Xbox, but I don't really know any of them. I'm just from a human being's point of view. I'm excited that some change is going to come. Well deserved, well needed change of ideology and practice at Activision Blizzard King. Okay, so we have Dave Close Strat. Listen, I'm sorry, David K. I butchered your name. I'm sorry. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "What deal does PlayStation get for Call of Duty now?" Ha ha, evil laugh. They're going to get Call of Duty. Phil swore under oath. Satya Nadella swore under oath. Who cares? Who cares if they get it? But they're not going to have the marketing. After 2024, that's it. Call of Duty drops onto Game Pass in 2025, unless the rumor is true that Jim Ryan, again, this is a rumor, it's what I'm hearing, wanted to back out of the Activision deal because he felt it was a disservice to PlayStation that every game that is on the amount of money PlayStation has to pay Activision for marketing rights is not worth it if everyone's going to look at Call of Duty and think of Xbox. So maybe he breaks the deal. Now, Call of Duty is going to be on PlayStation as long as there's PlayStation, whether it's PlayStation 5 all the way through 17. Call of Duty is going to be there because it makes a lot of money, and a lot of PlayStation players are not coming to Xbox. They're going to buy their game like they've been buying for years. But we'll see. I hope he does break the deal, so then we can get everything on Game Pass sooner. We have Gold Shell drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Blizzard is my favorite dev of all time." I guess you're. So is I know you must be excited because that's going to be great. Mike Ybarra, president. I mean, the guy's aces. Jess Corden, just like you, loves Blizzard. He says, "I'm shaking with the relief and excitement. Hopefully, my Game Pass and WoW subs merge." I think they're gonna do that, dude. Like, I really do. I play WoW on a controller. I didn't know you can even do that, dude. Like, I've never played WoW. Good on you. That's awesome. Okay, so we have gotten about 10 of them. So let me just stop there. Let me just go back to the podcast here and read. Okay, so we have 3 super chats that came in live. Want to read those? Jacob Novick drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Confirmed Call of Duty could come to Game Pass first in 2025. Thank you for that confirmation. Jacob Novick drops an additional $2 super chat and says, "Don't feel disappointed. We're here. We love it here." I appreciate that. Very kind words. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's more of a personal thing that I feel like I kind of let the community down by not reading them, which is why I'm here. And even if I'm here for 2 hours, we're gonna get it done. Everyone's super chat is gonna get read live on the air, and I'm gonna take some questions, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun with it. You drops a very generous £2 super chat and says, "The judge has been getting death threats." Yeah, I mean, look, I'll tell you this. From a police officer's or former police officer's point of view, I dealt with a lot of the bullying because I worked in a school. I actually went back to my high school that I graduated in '89, Christopher Columbus High School in the Bronx. And I went back there all those years later as the youth officer / school cop, and I locked up a lot of gang members. That was my thing. I'm not a big fan of gangs. And I can assure you that being bullying now is on front page. It wasn't front page back in the early 90s. It was there. I took it seriously, but it wasn't like mainstream. Now it's like a big thing. Bullying is disgusting. I have locked up people for threatening emails that threaten harm. And that's considered that's considered depending on what you say, it's at minimum it's a misdemeanor. It might be a class A misdemeanor. um I will tell you this: if you're threatening a federal judge, and they will come after you. Like if you email it, you put it on the social media, people watching, folks. Don't be stupid. Have your opinion, be disappointed. Don't threaten a federal judge. She didn't do anything wrong. She followed the letter of the law and she explained everything. So if you don't like it, I hear you, but don't go threatening a federal judge. You will go to jail. I'm telling you, you will go to jail. But let's see. If you have any particular questions that you would like, I'm looking into the chat now to see if you have something you want me to cover before I start reading some more uh, uh, some more super chats. I'm just looking here. Bear with me. This is new for me. This solo is difficult because I usually depend on someone to lift me up as I'm getting a drink of water or something. Let's see. Well, let me go down to the bottom and see if anyone has any questions specifically that you want me to cover while we're here. Who's first to get bored? Okay, all right. So here's a good one from C Money. Obviously, he's a good friend of the community. I've introduced him to a lot of people. Him and his amazing family are closing in on 11,000 subscribers, which is amazing. He asks a pretty good question here, so I'll cover this. He says, "Boom, who's first to get bought after the deal closes?" Okay, so I'm gonna attack this chat from two sides of the coin. Personally, you've heard me say this before. I will repeat myself for any new viewers. When Tomb Raider and Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal and all of those IPs were sold to Embracer Group for 300 million, which is peanuts, my heart broke because in my mind, if you look at what Microsoft doesn't have, they have iconic heroes. There's a ton of them, and like you see you see the person in front of you, Senua, a strong female lead, which is amazing. Joanna Dark is coming back in Perfect Dark. There's plenty of female led. South of Midnight. Is that what it is? Yeah, by Compulsion, another strong female lead. I love it. I think we need more representation like that. And I love to see it. For me, if I'm Microsoft and I'm looking at the room, I know where everyone wants Sega right here. Dreamcast favorite console of all time. I want Sega too, but I don't know if I go for a publisher right away. I think maybe if you're going to go and try to get someone like that, there should be no talk of that until 2024. Maybe they make an announcement in January to open up the year. Hey, we're going to try and acquire Sega, or we're going to invest 50% into Sega, so they have a controlling, opinion on where things go. Maybe that's how they do it, so there's no regulatory shenanigans. If I'm Microsoft, and I know if you just read the news, Embracer Group not doing so great right now. I don't want Embracer Group as a whole. What I do is I say, okay, Phil has a great relationship with the head, from what we understand, of Embracer. So what I do is I offer up 350, 400 million, and you get the Tomb Raider IP, and you get these two studios. And maybe you get a couple of other IP on the back end. Maybe you get Deus Ex, maybe you get Tomb Raider, and you give them an incentive to make the money that they spent on everything and you get Crystal Dynamics, who is currently working on Perfect Dark, and you get your hands on Eidos Montreal, who's currently working on Fable. And these are two studios that know how to do third person, story driven action adventure games. You get them in your wheelhouse. You go and you have, now that they have a relationship with Marvel, right? You know, obviously they have, well, not so much Marvel, but with Disney, Indiana Jones exclusive, right? Uh, ZeniMax is supposedly working on a Mandalorian open world, like a MMO. If that's in fact the case, and you have those two IPs, why not go and try and not only get these studios, but then ask those studios, what do you want to make? Same way Sony asked Insomniac, what do you want to make? They were like, we want to make a Spider-Man game. Go ahead, go make it. And you allow these two studios to make a single player, story driven, exclusive Marvel character. That's where I want them to go. I mean, of course, you know, we want Asobo, we want IO Interactive, we want Avalanche Studios, we Certain Affinities, another good one. I say get them all, but I immediately go for Crystal D and Eidos, only because they're currently invested in first party IP. That's what I would do. So let me get back to the super chats. Wolverine Double X drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Sony getting that 80-20 split, LOL. Yeah, that's what they're probably going to get. JFX88 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, General King, the line has been successfully held. Permission to grab a beer. Indeed, have a beer. Have two. For me, I don't drink beer. I don't drink any alcohol. I'll take a Dr. Pepper, or my drink of choice is a nice ginger ale with a little lime. That's as hard as I go because I don't really like alcohol. But listen, to each is everyone's own. You drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, "Woo! Did we think all of the ABK profit will go back to improving Xbox and give them a bigger budget? Hopefully, they go after Crystal D next." I think I think the funny thing here, and I'm not being facetious, folks. I'm trying to be fair-minded and not be like a rah-rah Xbot, is how Sony claimed to regulators that Call of Duty was so important to them that they used the profit to make first-party games. Now, I don't know if that's a lie. I don't know if that's nonsense. But if it's not, if that's how they did, you know, how they did their stuff, okay, that's fine. But I love the idea that Microsoft is going to make so much money from Call of Duty and Mobile and King and whatever they put out for Blizzard, that they are literally going to not only buy up new studios like the IOs, like the Certain Affinities, like the Crystal Ds, but they're going to be able to invest and potentially make games that might be a little bit more risky, like a Banjo-Kazooie. Like, a lot of people seem to think that there's no market for it. I humbly disagree. And shout out to Randall Thor, who defended the Banjo Bros on Xbox 2 podcast, which, by the way, that dude had almost 3,000 people. Congratulations. Oh, and before I forget, okay, now I have to say this as someone that, look, yesterday, it was decided by Jez Corden that he was going to take this ghost pepper chip, one chip challenge thing. And I say this, and this is my pledge. He lost a bet to Randall Thor that was $100. He can't pay the $100 because he got some stuff coming up. Understandable. Jez, I say this to you as a brother. Please do not do this. And I'm going to tell you why. If you have hypertension, if you have high blood pressure, this could be one of those things that you see on social media that go incredibly wrong. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If you say no to the one chip challenge, I will take $100 out of my pocket and I will give it to Randall Thor. Randall Thor, I love you. Send me your PayPal information. I'll send $100 right now. And I will pay his marker so he doesn't have to do this. Because first they said about drinking the hot sauce, that's potentially deadly, especially if you're losing weight and you don't want to put a hole in your stomach, right? The one chip challenge thing, I know a lot of it's a big thing on social media. Jez, if anyone can get this message to Jez, please don't do that. I will pay your marker. I will gladly pay your $100 marker to Randall Thor, and I'll send it to him today if necessary. Just don't do the one chip challenge because I have some concerns, and I'm always worried about other people's health. I'm just throwing it out there, folks. It's just my way of potentially avoiding a tragedy because those things can go horribly wrong. Maybe he's allergic to something in that chip and he can't breathe. I say let's not take any chances. Continue your weight loss goals as you're doing, and I will pay your marker of $100, and it's perfectly fine. Again, Rand, today, send me your PayPal in the DM, and I will send it over to you. I will pay Jez's marker. Okay, so with that said, let's get back to the super chats. We have you drops an additional, very generous. Oh, I just read that you. Let's see. Drawn TJ. Hey, Drawn TJ. Hopefully you're here and you can hear this. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, hey guys, everyone, please hit the like button. Thank you so much for that. Omega Ren. I've never seen that name. Welcome to the channel, brother. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, good afternoon, Boom and panel. Love this news. Indeed, we're still celebrating. I'm still like I was numb until this morning. Like, I can't believe this actually happened. It went because doesn't it seem like most things do not go in Xbox's favor? Honestly, I was nervous. I'm not going to lie. I was a little nervous, but I'm so happy that it went through. Tom from Tsunami drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, the CMA has asked CAT to stop litigation to negotiate with Microsoft. Yes, they have. And they're out there peddling their nonsense. Don't pay attention to anything the CMA is saying. They're cowards. And they're doing this so they don't look weak to other big corporate entities that may want to challenge their nonsense. They know that they're wrong, and they're just trying to save face, and it's embarrassing. Game Down Sights drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, history has been made, gentlemen. What a day indeed. Tom from Tsunami drops an additional $2 super chat and says, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Indeed, we did. And Raiden Blade drops a £2 super chat and says, hey, CMA, with a couple of poop emojis. What you gonna do now, Khan and on her out? Look, I'm gonna say this. I kind of figured, and you can ask Everborn. I said one of two things were gonna happen. Either the CMA was gonna abandon Khan, or Khan was going to be the coward that she is and abandon the CMA. Turns out that the CMA has abandoned Lena Khan, which I kind of knew was going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to stop for a hot second. I'm going to grab a little water. So bear with me. Let me get back to the stream on this channel. Okay, so we got a couple more super chats in here. I'm going to read that. Gamer by Choice, generous friend of the program, drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, just to show support for you, Boom, because your integrity and work ethic is something people aspire to achieve. Dude, that is incredibly kind of you. I appreciate that even more than the super chat. That is amazing. Thank you for saying such a nice thing. He says, I wonder if Sony will get a contract now that Xbox doesn't have to provide one. Well, they have see, that's the thing. Like, they already have publishing contracts where they don't have to get permission from Sony to put a game on there. They just put it on there. At least that's how it was explained to me. And I think Destin Legary actually explained it like that. I've been, by the way, Destin, if you ever want to come on the show, brother, we can have a one-on-one. We're going to have a panel. He just put out a new video. Great. I just watched this morning as I was cleaning. I actually finished the Xbox 2 podcast, and I listened to Destin as I was doing my daily chores. Because while Mrs. Boom is working, someone's got to clean the house, so it's usually me. We have Flash, drops a very generous $2 super chat, says, how do you feel about Microsoft buying all of WB? I love the idea. I just don't know how that would work. I think Microsoft would have some regulatory battles, but I don't think as bad as Activision, because WB wouldn't be as much. It'd be close, but Microsoft doesn't have any kind of a presence in film, which is what real WB is. I'd love for them to get the Mortal Kombat studio. NetherRealms would be huge. I'd love to see them have because I've been saying this for a while. Microsoft needs their own hero identity. I mean, Spider-Man is PlayStation. Obviously, Wolverine is going to be a huge game. That's going to be it might even be bigger than Spider-Man 2. That's how big Wolverine is. He's a fan favorite from everyone. He's probably as popular as Spider-Man. Maybe not as popular, but he's right there neck and neck, and I think that's going to be huge. We have Maxi Coleman drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "Perhaps I'm old like you, Boom, but you are absolutely right about the one chip challenge. Besides, it's not the example they have to show. I mean, look, they're doing it for fun. I'm just saying, as someone who really cares about other people. Like I met Jez in real person. He's a gentleman. I met him in E3 2019. He sat actually behind me, King, and Tim Dog during the showcase, which was awesome. And I know he's on a weight loss goal. He's on this journey to lose weight, to be healthier, and as someone who had a health scare, folks, a couple weeks ago, I thought I was having a heart attack. Turns out it was a really bad asthma attack. Um, you don't want to be with the IVs. You don't want to be in a bed where you don't know that. I'll say this and I'll let it go. Nobody wants to be on death's door because of a self-inflicted wound. Nobody wants to do something that could have been avoided by not doing it. So, like I said, please reach out to Jez, reach out to Rand. I'll pay the marker. It's not a problem. I'm not rich, folks, not by a long shot. I'm a retired dude. I have limits, but I would rather lose $100 than lose Jez Corden to the community. That's what I'll say. But let's see if we can pull up the comments and see if anyone has any questions that they might have. And thank you for bearing with me. This is actually going a little bit better than I thought, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a disaster. Let's see. Okay, so here's a great question from the Hooded Canuck. Hooded, welcome to the program. As always, you're here, and I certainly appreciate that. He says, are the older Spider-Man games, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, X-Men Legends 1 and 2, coming to Xbox Game Pass as backwards compatibility? Now, I'm going to go based on what I heard on the Xbox 2 podcast because someone, one of the Patreon questions asked that. So I can go and I can answer that. In regards to Spider-Man, I do not think so because those rights have expired. Now, the Spider-Man games he's talking about are the ones by Beanox, which were, I'm telling you, folks, I'm telling you, if you have a workable 360, if you have a workable PlayStation 3, these were, I thought that they were pinnacle Spider-Man tales. Because they talked about the multiverse before the multiverse was even a thing in Beanox's first Spider-Man game. It was phenomenal, especially the Nor Spider-Man mission. Aces. So I don't know so much about Spider-Man. I'm gonna answer the question with caution, and I'm gonna agree with Randolph Thor. I don't think so because there's no way they would be able to convince Sony or Marvel to go against Sony, who has the rights for Spider-Man's character on video games. I don't think that. In regards to Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, well, here's the thing. Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, they did like an HD thing, which really wasn't. It was really kind of I bought them because I'm a fan of those games. I'm pretty sure they are still available to buy. I'm almost positive because they re-released them. They didn't really do much to them. So I would think that it is possible that you could get Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. In regards to X-Men Legends 1 and 2, those were freaking awesome. I don't know. I'm going to inquire about that, Canuck, because those were pretty dope. So if you can get those types of experiences as backwards compatibility through this deal, oh man, that'd be great. Spider-Man, I don't think so. And praise the sun. This is a great question because this also came up during the Xbox Two podcast. Because Phil, when this was originally announced, Phil had made mention of bringing back IP that have kind of went the way of the dodo, and he mentioned Guitar Hero. Oh man, you know what? Sell me another guitar. I got one right here. I got a very expensive Logitech. This thing I think was $300. Still works and everything. I would be down for a new Guitar Hero without even a doubt. Um, but if the first one that I want to see, because I'm old, folks, you got to understand, I'm gonna be 53 in September. They had a Metallica, like one. They had a few, they had a few. Did they have ACDC? They might have. They had a few. I'd love to see a Kiss one. Oh my God, Gene Simmons would eat that up too. That would be fantastic. So I'd love to see Guitar Hero come back in a big way. Let me get back to the super chats, folks. Retro Rich drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, please get Quake 4 360, Wolfenstein 360, RTCW Xbox, Singularity. Dude, let me tell you something right now. Shout out for Retro Rich, who has just earned his name. I am telling you from one gamer to many who are in the chat, Singularity is one of the best games I can guarantee you never heard of or you never played. Absolutely freaking phenomenal. That would be amazing. He says, let's see, Vigilante 8 would be dope. That was the world's answer to Twisted Metal. I actually quite enjoyed Vigilante 8. And he wants all of that backwards compatibility. I cannot wait to see what they do with that. Like, I can't wait to see that we're gonna wake up one day and there's going to be an Xbox wire and say, hey, the first 20 games are in there and they're Call of Duty, whatever, and all of these retro games. I cannot wait. Jerome TJ drops a very generous $5 super chat, says, okay, now let's go get WB and Sega and all the small studios. See, he's greedy, folks. And Umbra approves of Jerome TJ's greediness because he's greedy too. And I don't say, I have to admit, I'm kind of greedy. So yes, I will take you up on that, Jerome TJ. Highlander 001 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Microsoft stocks just jumped and Activision stocks are above $90 for the first time in 2 years. Sony stocks took a major hit. That's no doubt. I really thought that Sony's would drop even more. We have Mo B drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, boom, I'm here for all of the smoke and TTs. Let's get it. Yeah, I try not to bring too much smoke. Because I'm a humble gentleman. I like to be a gentle man, if you will. I will, if someone comes at me, give them the smoke on this. Please don't come at me because if you were anti this deal, you just lost. And have you noticed, folks? Is it just me? But can we bask in Twitter and see how quiet it is? Right? Just everybody's celebratory tweets. Now, Gaz is out there doing what Gaz does best. I mean, he's known as Septic Sauce Gaz, and he is giving it to them. He even said something most of inappropriate when he was with Colt, which I saw, and he put out there on a tweet where he said he was going to bang some dude's wife. I don't know whose wife it was, but that's just Gaz being Gaz, and that's why we love him. Let's see. Freddie Fox drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, yes, justice has prevailed. Indeed, it has. Resting Craig Face drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I'm trying to deliver the mail, but it's hard to focus on all this excitement. Line held. Now time to advance on the enemy. P.S. Get the thread. Get on threads, please. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna give it the old college advice. A lot of people ask me, hey, "Boom, you on Threads?" I'm like, I didn't even know what it was at first. I'm like, "Oh, that's the new thing." I'm gonna start an account. I'll throw it out there on the socials once I do. Resting. I'll say Soul Eater 23. Welcome to the program, there, brother. He drops very generous $5 super chat and says, "Morning Boom and panel. First, don't know after a couple of months of listening, what a win for Microsoft. Hoping for." More exciting news in the near future. Yeah, I don't think this is where. I mean, look, let's just say this. The year started off in a big way for Microsoft for Xbox with Hi-Fi Rush. Then we fell off a cliff with Redfall. I mean, just Redfall. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to not even apologize. I put 50 hours in. I beat the game. I loved it. Yes, there was tremendous amount of shortcomings, no doubt about it. It's a black eye for Xbox Game Studios. It's an even bigger black eye for Bethesda that they let it out the door. I personally think that you'll never see that happen again, in my opinion. But if you look at the Xbox showcase, and then they followed that up with 45 minutes of glory, of complete glory with Starfield. They close this deal on Monday, like we're expecting, and then they close out the year by maybe a surprise or two at the Tokyo Game Show, which they're going to be there. Phil's flying out for Gamescom. That's confirmed. Him and Aaron are going to be out there. That means they're going to show something. There's no doubt about it. How big, how small, I don't know. And then, of course, towards the end of the year, when we get to the holidays and when we get to the fall, you got Starfield in September. You got Motorsport in October, and then who knows? Maybe there's a surprise for November. Crazy, crazy, great time to be an Xbox gamer. We also have, let's see, Raiden Blade drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, I believe the small studio acquisitions, yes. Publishers, no. But partnership with publishers, yes. Until they acquire them, loving this outcome. Yeah, the Sega one, I don't think is going to actually going to be an acquisition. I think, and this comes the way of Everborn Saga. He actually made mention of this, and I didn't know this can happen. But how you get out of regulators' crosshairs with Sega is you invest a significant amount of money into the company. You buy a controlling share of Sega. Don't buy all Sega. You buy a controlling share. Now, maybe that's 50-50. Maybe that's 51%. But they wouldn't need regulatory regulation for that. They can invest the money. Sega could take the money, and Microsoft can take controlling opinion on what they're going to do with Sega, meaning their gaming division. I could be wrong, but this is what Everborn Saga said. I think he's onto something. So maybe that's where they go. We also have Christian Gomez drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, CMA put the block on hold to talk remedies. Yes, they did. Absolutely. Fantas Archer drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, glad for this ruling today and a strike against some injustice for a change. Indeed. Absolutely, brothers. And that's how I honestly feel. So let's get back to the chat and make sure there's any super new. Oh, there are some new super chats. Okay. So we have Kenneth Brickley. Kenneth, welcome to the program, brother. I've never seen the name before. If I have, I apologize. I've never seen it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the outstanding, generous $10 super chat and says, you're one of the best shows on YouTube because you treat all 5 gaming communities with respect. PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Mobile. Keep up the great work. That's incredibly kind of you. Look, we're all gamers. Do I like Xbox more than anything? Yes. Followed by the Nintendo Switch, which I play every day. Mrs. Boom and I, no, this is not a secret. I play Animal Crossing every day with Mrs. Boom. Maybe it's not a lot of people's games. I have 78 physical Nintendo Switch games. It's one of my favorite consoles. And Sony's third. Sony's third because I like Sony for their single-player, story-driven content. PC, I don't really play on, but I don't have any disrespect for PC. I got Mrs. Boom for Christmas, an Alienware laptop that's rocking a 3080. Again, that's for her, not so much for me. I'm not a PC person. And mobile, I play every day. I play Marvel Snap, and I love it. Laura Snap they get me every month. Drop $15 down on the pass for that month for whatever they're doing. I really like it. It's one of my favorite games. I wish it would come to console. We also have X Wolverine Double X drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, it's been real quiet. Indeed it has. And I kind of like it, right? Like it's kind of surreal that it's so quiet. Like some of the biggest trolls are not saying anything, and it's peaceful on these streets, right? It's quiet. You can get out there, you can talk Xbox. You're not getting browbeaten by people who are anti-Xbox because they got nothing to say. They're hiding, folks. We have here another super chat came in. Wow. Okay, let me get that real quick. That comes the way of Justin. Justin, brother, thank you so much for the generous $5 super chat. Says, boom. I picked up a refurb Series S to go with my ex yesterday for $200. That's awesome. Microsoft rewards points so free. Dude, are you serious? He got a free Series S. That is amazing. Um, on Prime Day today, the refurbished are sold out. Yeah, folks, don't be afraid to go with a refurb, especially if you're looking to kind of cut corners, like save a couple of bucks because money's kind of tough for people. If you get them from like Amazon, they're always warranted. So if it ever takes a dump, you can get your money back. Plus, something like that, you can buy like a 4-year warranty for like $6. Whatever the 200 price is. That's what I would do anyway. So let's get that back to the community, see if we can answer a question or two before we get back to super chats here. Let's see. It's okay. I'm looking. Drop your question, folks. I'm going to take your live questions now. If you want something specifically talked about, deal won't go until winter. BK said, it. Yeah, I don't know much about that. Let's see. What do we got here, folks? Let me see if I can find a question. So abnormal status says with the ROG Ally, you are a PC player. It's funny. I know that there's a lot of controversy, with the SD cards getting super hot, and some people are thinking that they might be a recall or whatever. Keasante said that. He goes, you might be considered PC, PCMR light because I'm starting to mess with things. I'm starting to mess with settings and FPS, and I never did that before, but they make it easy. I love my ROG Ally. It's going to be my portable Starfield machine. I cannot wait. Let's see. Okay, so the judge said they can go. Yeah, they have to wait until after 5 p.m. on Friday in order to close the deal because of the order that's in place. They could ultimately close the deal on Monday, which is what I think they're going to do. I think that in the next coming days, potentially even by Friday, there'll be an announcement from the CMA that they have accepted remedies, and there is going to be a small divestiture of something. Jez Corden seems to think it's going to be cloud. Maybe they pull cloud entirely from the UK, which would be really kind of dumb with to their consumers. Like, why would you do that? But maybe that's what they do to get around it. And who's ultimately going to lose is going to be the consumers, which according to Jez Corden, again, I've only been to the UK once. According to Jez Corden, who lives there, their policymakers are a bunch of knuckleheads, and they do this all the time, which is sad. Let's see if any new questions have come in. Let's see what we got here. Okay. I see some pushback with the CMA. Let me tell you something, folks. This is my opinion. Take it or leave it. It's fine. The CMA is literally the last country standing, and the UK finds themselves in a pretty unique situation. Trade talks between the United States and the UK have stalled, not because of this deal. They're going to come around in 2025. I find it unreasonable to suggest that they're going to come to the U.S. and want to sign a trade agreement blocking an American company trying to merge with another American company where they have been accused of protecting a Japanese company. So if you take that at just at face value, the CMA finds themselves in a very, very s- a negative outcome situation where if they continue to be as bullish and stupid as they are, they're going to find themselves behind the eight ball when it comes to having to do a new deal with the United States. Because I would give them a significant amount of backlash. Like, how did you try to block this deal when Microsoft has been bending over backwards to get it done? Like, you want remedies. Here's the remedies. They didn't want to talk, and they when they got rid of the console SLC, we were all cheering, right? Like the block really took me, like, blindsided me. I couldn't believe it that they blocked on cloud. And there's the cloud market is so small in the UK. I think Jez Corden said that at any one time on the cloud, there are 5,000 people on. Like, you block a $69 billion deal for 5,000 people? Like, it made no sense. So I mean, there's collusion, there's potential corruption between the CMA and the FTC. That's apparent. Um, there is something to be said about the connection that Jim Ryan has in that region of the world, specifically with the UK. Maybe there's some collusion or corruption there. I don't know. I don't have the documents, but I know that ultimately why we're seeing the CMA push back the way they are is because they don't want to look weak, even though they already do. So I think by Friday the CMA is going to do what the CMA is what we all thought they were going to do, is bend the knee and just approve the deal, because Japan approved it, China approved it, the EU approved it, the FTC lost. I mean, it it's 39 countries approved this deal. The 40th will be the CMA, and they're going to have no choice at this point. Um, let's see. We have Jay Slay drops a very generous $2 super chat. And brother, welcome to the program. He says, "Boom, you're awesome. Didn't know you were live today." Yeah, this is what basically happened, Jay, is I felt like a complete heel that I didn't read the super chats yesterday because the show just got away from me. It was so big and there was so many people, and I was going back and forth with emails and DMs. At the end of the day, it was 83 super chats. It's never happened in my entire existence on YouTube. It's probably more than we get in like 2 months. So it just, there was no way. So when I went to bed last night, I actually lost sleep over it because it bothered me so much. I talked with Mrs. Boom, and she said, "Yeah, you should do a stream and read those super chats and try and incorporate questions in between." And I was like, "Oh, that's brilliant." So that's why she does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So here we are. Thank you for the generosity, but thank you for the compliment as well. Double X Wolverine Double X drops an additional $5 super chat and says, "Looking to get a Switch, Pokemon Edition, or 2 terabyte. I'm stuck. Help." I can't help you there, brother. I would get a Switch. There are so many. My God, I love my Switch so much, dude. I have 78 games, physicals, and I. It's weird. Everything for Xbox, I buy digital, but for Sony, Sony's 50-50. Some things I got digital, some things I got physical. I buy physical everything in Nintendo because God forbid there was ever a situation where I needed money and some things had to go. Nintendo Switch games really hold their value, both in GameStop and if you sell them on eBay. Let's see. We have Wolverine Double X Wolverine Double X drops an additional very generous $2. Super Chat says 2 terabyte SSD for the Xbox. Can't decide. I mean, I bought one. I bought it last year. It's a little cheaper now. I wound up getting a little bit of a sale from Target. I think it was like, was it like maybe 30 or $40 off? And I was like, yeah, I kind of really need that 2 terabyte thing. So I got it. I got 1 terabyte in the bedroom for the Series X there. I personally, I hate that it's so expensive. But it's a necessity, at least in my opinion. So let me get back to the live chat and see if we can answer a question. Shout out to Lethal Papa, always out, always in these on these YouTube streets, keeping it safe from the knuckleheads. Shout out to also Astral Frost, who says, hello, boom, hello. Thank you so much for stopping by. We have 600 people here. Now I'm gonna go check YouTube just for shits and giggles. Okay, hold on just a sec. I gotta open this up and see where do we get there. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna give me 1 second. I just want to see where we are in subs, whether or not how close we are to 13K, and then we will continue this. Okay, I have too many things open, so I don't want this stream to take a dump. So let me just do a quick check and see where we are in regards to subs. Whether or not we're going to hit that 13K. Oh, well, we got 8 subs, so we are officially 42 subs away from 13K. Big shout out to the 8 new subscribers. If you are finding the channel for the first time, folks, please consider not only hitting the like button, but subscribing to the channel. I do this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. All great shows, all great panels. And we don't sell hate to get your butts in the seats. We have fun. We talk about video games. So let me get back to some of the super chats here. We have JFX888 drops a very generous additional $5 super chat and said Jim Ryan is somewhere punching air and blowing into a PlayStation 5 controller. Oh my goodness. Noxus BLD drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, boom, my brother. Sony done know who they Bombaclat romp with. They try. Pardon, I don't speak Jamaican, but I'm gonna give it the old college effort. He says they try romp with Xbox be original Jamaican Don Dada. They does by developer Fay Fun. Sony is a bombaclat. I wish we had Jamaican Jim here to do that. That would be King David. But thank you so much for the generosity, brother. Love you very much. We also have Kempy. It drops a very generous $8 super chat. Says Hargeet is the GOAT. Indeed, Hargeet is. Jacob Novick drops a very generous additional $10 super chat and says, this is the best day since January of 2020. ABK in Xbox Game Pass. I have a question. Can Xbox put old CODs in Game Pass when the ABK closes, or wait until 2024? No, I think, Jacob, that what you're going to see is whatever isn't still marketed with Sony is going to get dropped into Game Pass. I think you're going to see maybe 10 at a time get dropped in there. It's going to be pretty epic. I can see Diablo 2, the remaster or the remake getting in there. I can see Diablo 3 getting in there. I can see all of the Crash games, all the Spyro remaster, the Crash remaster, the Crash Racing. Maybe that new Crash fighting game that's like Nintendo's Fighter. Maybe that's like Smash Brothers. Maybe that gets in there because that needs players. It didn't really do so good for Activision. That's a possibility. We also have Con Artistic drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, we're both PlayStation and Xbox fans and happy. Oh no, says we are both PlayStation and Xbox fans and happy about this news. Indeed, absolutely. Michelle Alexandria, generous friend of the program, drops a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Michelle. We also have Jacob Novik drops an additional $5 super chat and says, can't wait for the trailer like we got when Xbox got Bethesda with all of the IP shown. Yeah, that's going to be pretty dope. I don't know when that happens, though. We also have Gerald Mack, fellow gray beard. I don't wear a beard, but when I do, it's kind of gray. He has one of the best in the business. He drops a $2 super chat and says hashtag Xbox One new console. Yeah, they I don't know if they won the generation. Sony is so popular. I think it's going to take this is one of those kind of deals where yes, it's relevant. Yes, it's important. Yes, you're going to see when Microsoft has the marketing on how they're going to use that Call of Duty marketing to get subs, to get, plaster that in all their console boxes, which is going to be dope. But I think it's going to take some years before you see a dent in Sony. Sony still has amazing first-party games. Hopefully, they continue to deliver on them, but we'll see. We also have Kempy. Oh no, hold on a sec. Let's see. Nicholas Branch drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, King in the chat, continue to hold the line. Phil Dominus, Aurelius, Maximus Spencer, closing it out. Love the coverage on this. Thank you guys. Stay beefy. Of course, talking about uh Lord Cognito. Yeah, that dude is huge. He's jacked, no doubt about it. Kempy drops a very generous $3 super chat and says, Phil Trajan Spencer. Trajan was the goat. I mean, listen, this is goat status for Phil, no doubt. Sapo, oh no, Raiden Blade drops a £2 super chat and says Pacta was right. He called it down the middle, indeed. And that's crazy because Pacta gets a lot of stuff wrong, but Pacta also gets a lot right too. Sapo drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I want cameras in the room when Jim Ryan comes to make the deal, holding his kneecaps in a a paper bag, kneeling to kiss the ring of Dark Phil. That is hilarious. And this is from yesterday. I read it because it was so substantial. Decado drops, folks. This is sick. $100 super chat. Like that is just bonkers. He says, "Boom, you have put into the work, put in the work along with your wife. You'll have a meal on me. Thank you very much." Yeah, we'll order out our favorite place here in New Rochelle. It's like a little mom and pop place that we supported through the pandemic. It's really small. Like you could walk on the street and go buy it. It's called Sestra's. Phenomenal food. And I mean, like I said, it's a tiny like pizza shop. I mean, they make a lot of stuff, but yes, we certainly will. Thank you so much for the generosity, brother. Definitely appreciate that. We also have you drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, so what do we think Xbox needs first party post ABK? I want Xbox to have more studios like Ninja Theory, etc. Crystal D, Eidos, Asobo, etc. Yeah, we did cover that. You, I what I think is going to happen is everyone's going to take a vacation after this because this is stressful AF, right? Like this is Phil. If you see him, usually he's vibrant and he's excited and he's young looking. This took some years off of him. This deal, no, there's no doubt about it. This was stressful for Phil and the entire team. I think that we will not see anything for the remainder of the year, unless they want to get in and maybe they had something on the back end with Embracer, and you hear maybe towards the end of the year that Crystal Dynamics is permanently going to be working with Xbox because they own them on Perfect Dark, and Eidos Montreal permanently working with Playground Studios as a collaboration of studios on Fable. And maybe we get an announcement that they purchased the Tomb Raider IP, which I think would be amazing. And I really want Laura Croft. I think that she's such a powerful IP. And she had a PlayStation identity many years ago. I would love to see her next trilogy arrive on Xbox as an exclusive. I really would. I think that she's such an iconic character, and I think that based on how well that character was represented by Crystal Dynamics, I'd love to see that continue. But I against being selfish, I'd love to see Laura Croft be looked upon in the pillars of Xbox exclusive, right along with Master Chief and and Gears and Forza and all of the other Fable and whatever else is coming down the line. I'd love to see her become Xbox first party. I really would. Um, let's see. Highlander 001 drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, ponies are cleaning their Twitter feeds. Yeah, we saw some people actually. Yeah, no names mentioned here because we don't do that, folks. We don't, we don't like unnecessary beef. I don't like to poke the bear as they're sleeping. But we did see some very vocal anti Xbox YouTubers completely leave Twitter altogether. Mm. I mean, it is what it is. You know, you give the smoke, eventually the smoke's going to come back and blow in your face, and well, that's exactly what happened. We have Brian. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. It's Brian C. I don't want to butcher your family's name. Thank you for the very generous $2 super chat. And my brother Neo Mental drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Yes, sir." Hashtag money indeed, because he has stock in Activision and Microsoft because he's smart. Helava drops a very generous $2.50 £2, £2.50 super chat. So thank you so much for that. Jacob Novick drops a very generous $5 super chat and says the ABK approval got the pony saltiest gaming so hard that he deleted his whole Twitter account. Again, didn't come from me. That's what happened. Yeah. Let's see. Igmatic Dreams drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, King, hold the line, post up. I'm 10 toes down. Everborn Saga, or Everborn Sega's coming home, baby. Thank you for all you guys do. Well, thank you, brother, for being here, and thank you for the generosity. Raiden Blade drops a very generous £5 super chat, an additional £5 super chat. Says Jim has done so much for Nintendo, Nvidia, and Boosteroid. What did Jim do for Sony? He got Congress and the JFTC eyes on them. Everyone is now looking at them. Yeah. Listen, I'm going to say this, and again, this is just my personal opinion. I think what Sony and SIE, and specifically Jim Ryan, did was do a tremendous disservice for the gaming industry as a whole. I really, really think that the unnecessary spotlight being turned onto the gaming industry because of their crying, because of one game. And I mean, listen, Jim Ryan's going to do what Jim Ryan does. I'm sure that his shareholders wanted him to, for him to hold the line, but he lied. And we know that Sony they're just a lying corporation. That's what they do. They got in. It's crazy that the FTC, who's supposed to represent the people, i.e., us, right, took Jim Ryan at his word without actually doing a proper investigation into what the market was, and same thing for the CMA, which is I think it's even more. I think it's a little bit more nefarious with the CMA because Jim Ryan has connections to them. And listen, I'm not saying they're corrupt, but I'm not saying they're not corrupt. And based on the block, I think there was some corruption in there, in my opinion. And I think that's why Kat has been at the forefront of cleaning up this mess that the CMA made. Just give me a second. Let me get a sip of water here. Okay, so Paul AFC drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, Boom and Panel, soon another narrative to be destroyed. The best-selling game on PlayStation will be an Xbox game. The line has been held, now attack. Yeah, it's going to be funny when the best-selling game is not only Minecraft, but also Call of Duty, and it's published by Microsoft. That's going to be hilarious. Always Big Daddy 7 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, all ponies in the chat. Amazon has the Xbox S today for $199. It's Prime Day. Yeah, I mean, but don't most PlayStation gamers have like $5,000 rigs? At least that's what they told us they did. So they don't really need an S or an X. They can go get Game Pass there's a dollar deal that they're doing. So you can get back the dollar deals back. Go get Xbox Game Pass for your, $5,000 rig and go crazy. Let's see. LeBron98 drops a very generous $5 from chat and says, Phil to Jim, I don't want to work out a deal. I just want to block your number. Oh my God, that's slanderous. I love that. That's great. Sanchez MTZ Gaming drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, congrats Xbox and Xbox community on the W. Indeed. The Black Viking, he's exploded on the scene on social media. In fact, he was one of the newest members of the Block team. He got blocked by Dreamcast guy. Join the club. You'll be better for it, brother. Don't even sweat. That guy's a knucklehead. He drops a very generous $20 super chat and says, "You'll split this up so you can get a few. You can get a gift. Can gift a few PlayStation fanboys Xbox Game Pass for Christmas." Yeah, that's funny, dude. Byron Lynch drops a very generous $5 super chat and says the judge did reference Lord Phil and King Nadala's 10-year pledge in the court documents. I would think that they are bound to that. Thoughts? Yeah, that did. It's they're gonna have Call of Duty, and who cares? Let them have Call of Duty. It's gonna be parity. It's gonna run just as good on the Series X as it does on the PlayStation 5. The only difference is there's not going to be any of these. Oh, you can't play zombie modes for 6 months. Microsoft is going to put the content there, and it's going to be everywhere. And who cares? It's going to be in your Game Pass subscription for $17 a month if you get Ultimate. Black Ronin 357 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "I need y'all to talk on the other announcement from the CMA. Ponies are down bad today. Saltiest Gamer deleted his Twitter account. Sensational." Yeah, man, that's rough, man. I would never do that, no matter what the news it was. But he thought it was necessary. Raiden Blade drops a £2 super chat and says, "In the UK, no lawyer wanted to work for the CMA. This is why." Well, I mean, there's reasons. The Lazy Otaku drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, this is for King. Phil in the office playing many men with the team once they finalize the deal. Indeed. I can't wait for that roundtable. Just as long as Bobby K ain't there, because F that dude. Sour Blow 18 just a very generous $2 super chat and says, "No more holding the line. We're taking it." That's a really good point of view. You drops an additional £2 super chat and says, "King, what if Microsoft buys Netflix or WB instead?" I mean, Netflix is, man, they're worth so much money. I don't know. I think their current net worth is like 195. Uh, is it billion? I don't know. They're worth a lot of money. That would be ridiculous. I could see partnerships. I can't see acquisitions. We have Jaguar Gaming Network drops a very generous $2 and put eyes emojis. Thank you, brother. Gaming Nerd Austria drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, "Amazing, nearly 2K in the viewers. Hit the like button. Hashtag hold. Oh no, wait. We took the line. Great day to celebrate and look forward to the hype." Okay, so let me get back to the questions here, if there are any. Let me just bring this up, get this up here. Okay, perfect. So I know where I'm going next. Let's see. Okay, let me see, catch up on super chats if there are any new ones. Okay, there are actually a few here. Maxi Coleman drops an additional $5 super chat and says, "Has anyone checked on Colin Moriarty? Is he okay?" Yeah, I haven't heard anything from him either. He's been real quiet. Guess who? 107 drops a very generous $5 super chat, says, "Boom. What's your opinion on how Xbox will handle next year's showcase?" That's a great question, dude. I'm going to take the time to answer that. I, man, I don't even know. Like, that's crazy because I don't think King needs a showcase because King is mobile and maybe no one cares about it. I mean, I play Candy Crush every now and again, but it's not the top of the tip of the spear for me. BlizzCon is obviously coming up. I would imagine that any Blizzard information will be saved for that. Especially like they have that survival game that they're currently working. Jez Corden seems to think that's going to be multi-plat, which again, who cares? In regards to Activision, I don't know, man. That's a great question. I mean, think about this. They're going to have to figure out a way because I think Activision's going to run itself, right? Like there's not going to be any full-on integration. The same way Bethesda runs themselves. I can see the Xbox Bethesda showcase kind of being what it is, like what we see now. But I think Activision it's just so big that it might just be its own thing. That's a great question. I don't know, man. Could you imagine the 'cause just imagine the like if you're in advertising, you're trying to figure out how to get all these words in that's not cluttering. The Activision, Xbox, Bethesda, Blizzard showcase. That's crazy. That's just crazy. Let's see. We also have Fantas Archer drop an additional $2 super chat and says, I would like to see the classic Call of Duty trilogy on Switch. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, that would actually, and probably it'd probably sell like a ton. Jay the Erp drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I can see Xbox picking up someone like Panic Button for their expertise with Nintendo support. Certain Affinity also has worked on Call of Duty. Yeah, I mean I can see some small acquisitions like that. That would be kind of dope. So listen, folks, we are closing in on 90 minutes of and again, when you're by yourself, I can already feel it. Like I have a show tonight, so I got to save my voice. I'm going to continue with the super chats. Let's see where how many do we have left? Okay, so we're over here. Let's see. Okay. See how many. Okay, so we're almost done. We're almost done. We have the Raiden Blade drops an additional very generous £2 super chat and says CMA is now ready to listen to Microsoft Xbox remedies, which they probably should have. Like I said, I don't know what this looks like. They're out there peddling some nonsense about, well, we have to, you know, Microsoft, we're going to have to reopen an investigation. They're full of s. That's all pandering by the CMA for them not to look weak. They have no choice. We also have let's see, Smitty Smith, who's been a channel member for 38 months. Brother, thank you so much for the generosity. He says, "What's up, Boom and Chat? I would like to see another Transformers game from High Moon Studios." Let me tell you something right now. If you skipped out on the Fall of Cybertron and the second one, these are brilliant, absolutely astoundingly brilliant Transformer games. I played them on the 360 and rebought them when they came to the Xbox One and beat them there again. They're phenomenal. They're absolutely, if you are, especially if you are a Gen 1 dude like myself who grew up in the 80s, you'll absolutely love it. We also have, let's see, Justin drops an additional $2 super chat and says, finally, justice prevails. W for Phil and team, indeed. Raiden Blade drops an additional £5 super chat and says, I believe in Phil. When he said colleagues were coming to him crying about their job, if Xbox will be closing, when he said that I knew Phil is coming. I mean, listen, look, I hope that we just found out yesterday that Activision has 17,000 employees. That's a lot of people. I hope we don't see a significant amount of layoffs. You never want to see that. Wolverine Double X drops an additional. Oh no, hold on a sec. We have Torino Johnson drops a very generous $5 from Chat and says, theory, Jim Ryan wanted ABK to go down so Call of Duty would be sold off cheap. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And Sony would swoop in to take it, but Phil happened, LOL. Yeah, this kind of blew up in his face, and I'm glad it did. I'm sorry, not to be, slanderous. Let's see. Wolverine Double X drops an additional $2 from Chat and says, popping effing bottles today. Yeah, indeed. Sir X-Man drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, boom, you have more viewers than IGN on this topic. That's crazy. Well, IGN is, you can't spell ignorant without saying IGN. So maybe people are just finally realizing that. Topaz Girl 170 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, shout out to my home state's Raven Software in, I think that's Wisconsin. WI. Raven has not worked on a new IP outside Call of Duty in 13 years. Yo, that's crazy. X-Men Legends and Jedi Academy remakes. I'll take both. Yes. Crazy G14 drops a very generous £5 super chat says, brilliant news today and brilliant show and panel. Mr. Boom, keep it up. Thank you, Crazy G. Super appreciate the generosity, but the kind words are noted even more so. Nobody drops a very generous $5 super chat says, the CMA folded immediately. They put up the white flag. We surrender. Yeah, they're cowards, man. They're just such cowards. We have Simon Brandy drops an additional £2 super chat and says, Iowa Interactive next. Bond will be Xbox exclusive. I kind of wonder if Bond is already an Xbox exclusive, because what did they say, right? There's no way Disney is going to allow for Indiana Jones to be exclusive. Shut up. It's exclusive. So I think maybe Bond happens the same way. They go back to the negotiation table and say, hey, listen, Bond on our console. What do you think? If the bag's big enough, they will. Splendiferous drops a very generous $2 super chat, says, boom. Where in the world is Jim Ryan San Diego? Oh, he's hiding. That guy is you're not going to hear from him for days, maybe even weeks. Simon Brandy drops an additional £2 super chat and says, King supporter Phil is unwavering. Take a bow. Yeah, he's definitely been there from beginning. Andrew Green. Andrew, welcome to the program, brother. He drops very generous £10 super chat and says, sorry I'm late. Good news about the deal. And King, we held the line, sir. And of course, Clarence Long, which is the 83rd super chat of that particular day from yesterday, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, new subscriber here. Well, thank you so much, Clarence, and thank you for the generosity as always. Let's see. Okay, let me make sure that, okay, so we're all up to date on all super chats. And honestly, this went better than I thought it was going to go. I hope I was entertaining enough to hang around. We had over 600 people here, which is pretty good on an impromptu kind of a show. These one-man shows, I don't like doing them because I could already feel my voice going, and I need to talk tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream. I want to thank everyone for the unbelievable generosity. I feel much better. I feel more. I feel better as a person that I took the time to read all of those 83 super chats live on the air. Because, like I said, we don't expect anything on this channel. We are incredibly grateful for all of the super chats, and they do help us fund a lot of the giveaways that we're doing. So a big thank you for that. We also have one come in from our good brother, Mr. Dreadpool, who was with us yesterday and is going to be with us on Friday morning. He drops a $2 super chat and says, Flying Ryan now hiding Jim Ryan. I love it. I love it that he is hiding. Dread, we'll see you on Friday. Folks, again, from Mrs. Boomstick and myself, we want to offer our thanks for all the love, for all the support, for getting us. We're almost at 13K. Maybe we get some new subscribers tonight. We could do it live on Primetime Gaming, maybe by week's end. Who knows? We still got, a show tonight. We have a show tomorrow at noon. We have a show at 10 a.m. on Friday. If you are here, please hit the like button. Please share this out on social media. And if you're new, please consider subscribing. We are 42 away from 13K. That's a big deal for us. We're doing it the grassroots way, right? We're not selling hate to get to get your like and your sub. We're doing it, just having fun. So folks, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. So take care, everyone. We'll see you tonight on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming. And please have a great day. Enjoy gaming on whatever console you enjoy gaming. And we'll see you tonight.